Hello everyone, our next experiment is about magnetism. The aim of the experiment is to measure the frequency of the PLN, Perusahaan Listrik Negara Electricity Current, using Milde experiment. Now we move to the basic theory. As you can remember again about how to calculate the mechanical wave and electricity frequency, the first thing you have to do is to calculate the mechanical wave on the wire. The velocity is equal to the root of wire tension divided by rho. And the wavelength that can be counted from the observation is lambda equal to L divided by N. And the last thing is how to calculate the frequency. You can use this formula, frequency times lambda equal to velocity.
Now we move forward to the material and tools. The first one is power supply. Power supply equipped with step-down transformer to down the voltage. And the second one is a Milde experiment board that consists of an electric wire clamp, an electric wire, a pulley, a balance, a 5 magnetic U-bar, a rotator, of various weights, and also some connector cable below the board and another side of the board, the red one as you can see in the video, and the ruler for measuring the length of the point B to C of the wire. The next section is our experimental procedure. Let's take a look. First, plug in the connector cable of power supply to the PLN current source. Then set the connector cable probe between power supply voltage output and an electric wire clamp. As you can see there, the red one and the black one. Choose a weight, namely N1, put it in the balance and note the mass of that weight. And then you can check all the devices compartment of Milde experiment board in a correct position. You check the magnetic U-bar in a correct position, and then you turn on the power supply, and you can set the voltage output you want to use. Don't forget to set the rotator so that the wire tension is equal to the weight force. And then until you can observe the wave that form in the BC wire, and don't forget to calculate the number of the waves and do it 3 times. And then you turn off the power supply for the next variation. And then you can turn on again the power supply, set again the voltage you want to use, and don't forget to check the weight. You have to use another different weights, or you can use the combination between the previous one, and you can label it with namely N2 and 3. Don't forget to do it 3 time repetition, and set again the rotator in the board so that the force and the tension of the weight is equal of the wire tension. And check again and observe. Don't forget to record the number of the wave in the wire from point B to C, and observe the waves that form in the wire from point B to C. Later, after you finish, you can set again the voltage to the 0 state and switch off the power supply, take off the connector cable probe from the Milde board, and then take off the cable. Finally, you will get the data in terms of frequency measurement from PLN electricity current. The first table here is about wire identity. You will get the information about the mass of wire in kilograms and also the length of wire in meters. And there is 3 data here because you did 3 repetition. Then you have to find the average number for mass of wire and also for the length of wire. The next data you will get is about the weight identity. As you can see in the table, in the left table, each weight you have to measure the mass in kilograms, and then you will get namely N1, N2, and N3. You did some 3 repetition, then you have to do some average for each part. And then later, because you have a mass of the weight, you can calculate the weight force in Newton for each N1, N2, and N3. Okay, then we move forward to the right table. The right table, this is information between weights for N1, N2, N3 with wire tension T in Newton, and also for velocity measurement by using equation 7. Please take a look at your guidebook to search for the number for velocity. The next data you will get from the experiment is about the wavelength identity. You can see in the left side of the table, this is the information for N1, N2, and N3. The small n is for the number of the waves you already observed and you calculate during the experiment, and the L in meters is for the length of wire in point B to C, and you have to do the 3 repetition and you get the average for each part. And after you get the number of the L in meter and n, small n, you can calculate the wavelength of the waves. After that, in the right side of the table, after you put the number of the lambda, the wavelength, and then the velocity you already measured in the previous part, later you can calculate the frequency by using the formula velocity equal to lambda times frequency, and then you average the number for each part in the end. Once again, I want to remind you that this is the table of frequency calculation. The previous one, you already calculate the value of lambda, the value of velocity for each part, N1, N2, and N3. And then you have to find and you have to determine the number of value of the frequency. After that, you do some average and you will get the number, the value of the frequency. Okay everyone, this is your final task. You have to determine the frequency from PLN currents from your data experiment. Then you have to compare with the real number of the PLN frequency value that you already know. Okay, thank you, good luck, and see you in the next experiment.